It's August 1st. We should not have this much news, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of it's bad news, but we are going to go through all of it together. So let's start it off with the most important stuff. Yeah, we got a Jonathan Taylor situation to talk about. And I want to be completely honest with you. I have drafted the hell out of Jonathan Taylor. I thought in the middle of the second round this year in fantasy football drafts, Jonathan Taylor was a very strong pick when he was going after guys like Jalen Waddle and Chris Olave. Well, now Jonathan Taylor is up in the air. We have no idea what the hell's going on. If we want to go all the way back to the beginning of this story, we have to start July 17th, where 2 weeks ago, Jonathan Taylor tweets out, "Wow," in response to Saquon Barkley not getting a long-term contract extension by the New York Giants. Then he replies to someone named Matt Miller on Twitter. Matt Miller says, "Been saying it for years. 1, you draft a running back. 2, you play the running back. If he's good, you franchise tag him once, and then you get rid of him." Jonathan Taylor responds, "If you're good enough, they'll find you. If you work hard enough, you'll succeed. If you succeed, you boost the organization, and then doesn't matter, you're a running back." So, I mean, you're kind of getting a sense, yeah, Taylor is worried about his future at the running back position and what may happen after this next season when he's up for a contract in 2024. Well, sounds like he went to Jim Irsay. He went, "Hey, man, yeah, I've been great. Okay, I was the best running back in the NFL 2 years ago. You put me in a horrible situation this past year with Matt Ryan. Let's ignore that. Give me a contract extension. Show me that you value me." And yeah, this is what happened. I guess Jim Irsay gave him the double birds. Then Jonathan Taylor, July 29th, has formally requested a trade after meeting with owner Jim Irsay. Followed up by Jim Irsay going out there saying, "Yeah, we're not trading Jonathan Taylor." Then apparently, I don't know what the hell's going on here. We have a quote saying, "If I die tonight and Jonathan Taylor's out of the league, no one's going to miss us. The league goes on. It doesn't matter who comes and who goes." Now, I initially thought that this was fake. I thought that there was no way in hell this was a real quote. So, I mean, I went through and scoured the internet, and yes, this looks to be real. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I have no idea what's going on. Then next, Jonathan Taylor is put on the NFI list due to a back injury. And you have My Sports Update saying, "Latest twist, the Colts are contemplating placing Jonathan Taylor on the non-football injury list due to a back injury he suffered away from the team. This means if Taylor didn't play this season, his contract would just toll to 2024. They'd have the right to not pay him anything in 2023. The move has not been made yet, but the Colts continue to fight this one out publicly." So essentially the Colts say, "Hey man, good freaking luck doing anything. We have all the leverage in the world. You're playing for us this next season. And if we franchise tag you the season after, who the hell cares? You can't do anything about it." Jonathan Taylor then follows it up with the tweet saying, "Never had a back pain, never reported back pain, not sure who your sources are, but find new ones." And then to think this could not get any crazier, on a depth chart that only has Jonathan Taylor and nobody else, the running back 2 in Zach Moss breaks his arm at practice. So this is where we now stand with Jonathan Taylor. Ownership and Taylor are not on the same page. You can't blame them. Ownership, God knows what they're doing when they're out there talking about dying. I don't know. Now, if we're trying to figure out where we should be drafting Jonathan Taylor, I mean, right now in underdog drafts, like I said, I've been taking him in the middle of the second round. Hell, I drafted him at pick 20 in a $1,000 draft, I believe about a month ago. And now if you're looking at where he's going, Jonathan Taylor is an ADP of 19.9. I'm assuming he's going to fall behind Tony Pollard. I'm assuming that he's going to fall behind Derrick Henry. I'm assuming that you're going to get Jonathan Taylor making it to the very end of the second round, the beginning of the third. Now, in those underdog draft tournaments where we are trying to shoot for the highest ceiling possible, where it's like a $25 buy-in, $3 million first place prize in Best Ball Mania, or if it's, say, like a $5 buy-in, $75,000 first place prize in the Puppy Tournament, I'm still going to be fine drafting Jonathan Taylor there, even if he comes with risk, just because we are trying to shoot for the highest ceiling possible to try to actually win life-changing money. Now, if you're looking at where he's going in ESPN drafts, there Jonathan Taylor has an ADP of 14. There Jonathan Taylor is going ahead of CeeDee Lamb. he's going ahead of Nick Chubb. And to be honest with you, I would probably at this point in your regular redraft format, just take Nick Chubb over Jonathan Taylor. And I had Taylor ranked over Chubb earlier this offseason. I kind of have to take my L. I'm sorry. I was not expecting this to happen. So yes, please draft Nick Chubb over Jonathan Taylor here at the minimum. Now going over to our next update. This one, not super big, but felt like we had to talk about it though. Sony Michel is officially retiring from the NFL. First round pick for the Patriots in 2018. Michel played 5 seasons. Not a super big deal. Nobody was drafting Sony Michel, but this was a Los Angeles Rams depth chart that had literally nobody. You had like Sony Michel, you had nobody outside of Cam Akers. And then after Sony Michel retires, the Rams have signed Royce Freeman, and Royce Freeman is a nobody either. So maybe this is just confirmation that if you are a Cam Akers fan this next year, you should feel pretty damn comfortable based on the overall depth chart you have in Los Angeles. But now let's go over to Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, where we had some pretty big drops back to back here. It's not like we were monitoring these guys, and out of left field, we get a report saying, yeah, Zach Charbonnet is out indefinitely with a shoulder injury. We don't know what this is right now. I mean, this is something that we're going to have to continue to monitor through the rest of this week. Hopefully we get more information. And if there's any more information, it'll pop up on the screen right now, and I will update y'all every single night on the live stream, of course. Now, with Kenneth Walker, he is sidelined with a groin injury. From what I can tell from the research I've done, which keep in mind, there's very, very little information out there, but it sounds like Kenneth Walker is most likely going to be week to week, possibly going to be missing 1 to 2 weeks here, whereas Zach Charbonnet is completely in the air and we have no idea. Now, I saw some people hyping up Kenny McIntosh, a running back that was on the best college football roster in the nation last season. Please do not draft Kenny McIntosh. This is a running back that has a BMI of 27.7 and runs a 4.62. You cannot be that small and be that slow and find success in the NFL. It legitimately has never happened, will never happen for a running back. And we said this last year when people were hyping up Zamir White, Kyren Williams, Isaiah Spiller, and it remains true right now. So please don't run out there and grab Kenny McIntosh. Ignore it. We'll keep you posted with these Seattle running backs. Now going over to our next piece of news. Ezekiel Elliott is going out there and visiting the New England Patriots. And this is one of the reasons why I've been hesitant to draft Ramondre Stevenson at the 2-3 turn in underdog drafts up until this point. I mean, with Ramondre, I'm on record saying, yes, if the New England Patriots do not add in a running back this offseason, he is a phenomenal price in fantasy football drafts right now, going at the beginning of the third. But if we need to be realistic with ourselves, what is the probability they're not adding in another running back? When you have Zeke out there, when you have Dalvin out there, both running backs talking about visiting New England. On top of this, you're going to be looking at the potential of getting Leonard Fournette. Hell, maybe Jonathan Taylor traded. Obviously, that's just pure speculation, but still pretty notable that Ezekiel Elliott is visiting. Ramondre would still definitely be the running back to have, but where this goes bad for Ramondre Stevenson is Ezekiel Elliott may end up being like the goal line running back if he were to go to a team like the New England Patriots. Now, it's all about the price point where you're drafting him. Now, Ramondre Stevenson in underdog drafts currently is the running back 9. He's going at the end of the second round or the beginning of the third round. However, in your regular redraft formats like on ESPN, where Ramondre Stevenson's the running back 14 and you can get him in round 4, I'm all about it. So it's all about that price point. Do not draft him as the running back 9, but if you can get him as the running back 14, yes, go target him, of course. And of course, if you want to get into one of those underdog drafts with us, we are drafting literally every single day on the live stream. I will not miss the day until 2024. Underdog is best ball. There's no time commitment at all during this season. This is also the same place where you have those player props going into this next year. My favorite player props, at least at the running back position right now, Nick Chubb plus half a rushing touchdown versus Josh Jacobs. And if you want to get into an underdog draft with us, or if you want to go check out any of those player props, and find the link in the comment section in the description of this video. If you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, as well as a free trial to flockfantasy.com. But now let's go over to Dalvin Cook, where we have some news about him possibly being a New York Jet. And this is how I'm getting Breece Hall in the 4th round of underdog drafts right now. So a couple different reports. One, Dalvin Cook says he thinks the odds of signing with the Jets are pretty high. Keep in mind, he went and visited with this team Sunday, and he said this directly before the team visit. Now, the report that we got July 31st says there's no timeline for the Jets to sign Dalvin Cook. So we may not know when this is happening, if this is happening at all. And then the next report that we have saying Michael Carter would be the odd man out, and Michael Carter would most likely be the guy cut from the New York Jets if Dalvin were to go there. So pretty big news on that front. I'll probably still draft Breece Hall in the middle of round 4 until we actually get the official news. Now, going over to our next guy, Alvin Kamara, one of my most drafted running backs on Underdog, just because we're chasing upside. Y'all know that. But nonetheless, we got the report, I want to say, about 2-3 weeks ago at this point, that he dodges the felony. Instead, he's going to be settling with the misdemeanor. He's pleading no contest. And the report just came out today that Alvin Kamara is actually going to meet with Roger Goodell before a potential suspension. From what I am seeing with Alvin Kamara, and we also had a chance to talk to Nate, the lawyer that we had on the channel about a month ago. He said that instead of seeing a 6-game suspension for Kamara, most likely this goes down to a 2 to 4 game suspension, even with the possibility of no games missed for Alvin Kamara. Now, with that being said, it's all about that price point that you are getting him at. If you're looking at him on Underdog, we were getting him past pick 100, which is why, he was my most drafted running back at one point. But now he has risen up to be pick 90, and he has the ADP of running back 29. Whereas if you're looking at him on ESPN, there he's going to be going as the running back 25, pick 83. So it's all about that price point again. Now, going over to our next back, we're going to be looking at James Cook with news coming out of Buffalo saying James Cook has 3-down potential. Now, it sounds great, right? And this has actually caused James Cook to rise in fantasy football drafts as of late. But you need to be very realistic with yourself with James Cook. James Cook at Georgia was a running back that operated in a committee. James Cook at Georgia had a reason to be in a committee. This is a running back that has a BMI of 27.8. He really does not have the size to be a 3-down player, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, I wish that he did. I wish that James Cook could be that guy. I've drafted a decent amount of him. But at 199 pounds, BMI of 27.8, what you were hoping for from James Cook is you were hoping that he is the receiving down back and he sees 3 to 4 targets per game in this Buffalo Bills offense that should score a lot of points because they have Josh Allen. Now, this is what I am almost most excited about. Travis Etienne has been one of my most common 4th round picks in underdog drafts so far this season. And we get a report coming out saying Travis Etienne has got nearly everything thrown his way in camp. I love to see that. And I also love to see Travis Etienne talking to the press about the running back contract situations and going, well, you know what? You can't just be a downhill runner today. If you want to be a running back that gets paid today, you have to actually make an impact receiving, catching the football. You have to be out there and you have to be like Christian McCaffrey. Getting that statement from Travis Etienne is such a big deal because this is a running back that we talked about at Clemson, averaging 4 receptions per game his final season there and indicating that he can catch the ball even if he didn't do it last season. So what I'm expecting Travis Etienne to take that next step forward. I think he is more involved as a passing down running back this next season and an offense that should be much better with Trevor Lawrence going into year 3. Now, going over to Alexander Mattison, we're getting a report saying Vikings offensive coordinator Wes Phillips is comfortable with Alexander Mattison on all 3 downs. Hard to read too much into this, right? What we can say is, well, when Dalvin Cook's missed time in the past, yeah, Alexander Mattison has been used on all 3 downs. Now, I don't necessarily want to go all in on Alexander Mattison here. I think his price point is okay. I don't necessarily think it's bad. I don't necessarily think it's great. If you're looking at his underdog player prop right now, underdog has him at 7.5 rushing touchdowns. Now, going over to Javonte Williams, this is probably the best news we've got. Javonte Williams cleared for contact, but it was unsure if he'll play in the preseason. Now, if I wasn't drafting Alvin Kamara past pick 100 earlier in the offseason, I was drafting Javonte Williams while people were clowning on us, telling us we should have been drafting Samaje Perine and said, what the hell are y'all talking about? It looks like Javonte Williams may be good to go week 1. Now, I still think Javonte Williams probably start a little slow, right? I mean, the man destroyed his knee, but the fact that he's cleared for contact today in the preseason is even a possibility. This is great news here. Now, J.K. Dobbins not at practice, and we have a report saying the J.K. Dobbins situation is complicated, but the team is working through it. Now, Dobbins is not injured, at least from what I can tell. What I can tell is Dobbins is actually healthy, but the reason he sat out of minicamp, the reason right now that he is on the PUP is he wants a new contract. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I am just an idiot troll on the internet. Okay, I'm a nobody. My opinion means nothing. But with that being said, if Saquon Barkley had not proven enough to get a new deal, if Jonathan Taylor had not proven enough to get a new deal, how the hell has J.K. Dobbins proven enough to get a new deal? I'd be very surprised if the Baltimore Ravens give J.K. Dobbins a contract extension if these other running backs aren't seeing them. I'm assuming he's just going to realize he has no leverage and he goes back to playing. Now, our next report saying Antonio Gibson expects to be a third down back. Stuff like this should not move fantasy football ADP. Okay, don't read this report and go, okay, yeah, that's great. Let's move Antonio Gibson up draft boards. Because what's happened over the past 2 months? Over the past 2 months, people realized, oh yeah, J.D. McKissick's no longer in Washington. Antonio Gibson's going to be the third down running back. Let's move him up draft boards. And then Antonio Gibson rose up draft boards. And now that we get a report saying Antonio Gibson's going to be the third down running back, should we move him higher? No, it was already priced in, ladies and gentlemen. It's like if you're going to buy a house and they go, okay, well, yeah, there's a pool in the backyard. You go, okay, yeah, okay, what? Is that worth an extra $30,000? Do $30,000 more in the house? They go, well, there's a pool in the backyard. You don't just keep on adding value the more times you say it. It's the same situation no matter what. Now, going over to Philadelphia, you have Rashad Penny taking first-team offensive reps in camp. You have DeAndre Swift getting used as the receiving down back. So I think we could probably say that, yeah, Rashad Penny is going to be a running back that is involved in this offense in some type of committee with DeAndre Swift being the third down option. I don't necessarily think that this changes too much here. What's going to be super interesting is if the Philadelphia Eagles find a way to say, oh, yeah, can we bring in Jonathan Taylor? That would be nuts. But obviously, it's hard to say that that's going to happen just because we're dreaming it does. But I think that's all we have for this video. Again, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for checking it out. And as always, if you have not done so already, you better go down there, drop a like. You better subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And if you want to get into a draft with us on the live stream tonight, tomorrow, the next day, the day after, whenever you're watching this, we'll be live and we'll be drafting teams on Underdog Fantasy. They're best ball teams, so no time commitment at all during the year. It's how I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last season. And if you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com. It's available in damn near every state. And also, you can check out all those cool player props you saw in the video. But thank you. Really appreciate you and really hope I get a draft with you in a live stream tonight.